On this episode of the Comic Blast podcast, we talk about Star Wars High Republic. A brand new era of Star Wars has been announced. And we also talk about Robert Pattinson's controversial Batman suit. All of that coming up next.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out? Consider this mercy. I am inevitable.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Comic Blast podcast. From our minor hiatus, I'm here with Keenan, of course. What's up?
What's up? Happy to be back. Happy to be recording another episode. I hated that we missed last week. I was pretty devastated.
We were saying before this, like every time we take just a 1 week break, it feels like a lifetime.
Ages.
Like it feels like a month. But yeah, he was sick, and last week, frankly, I was just so busy. So I was a little relieved that I was.
You're
relieved
welcome,
that you were
man.
sick.
Anytime you're busy, just let me know. I'll get sick for you. We're good.
Dude, Keenan always coming in clutch. He's giving me movie codes. He's getting sick for me. He's giving me Lord of the Rings steelbooks.
What else is friends for?
You can't ask for a better co-host,
right?
Honestly.
Yeah.
I owe him a great debt. But yeah, we actually have a pretty decent show the past 2 weeks has kind of combined into one overall show because we have some stuff to catch up on and some new stuff within just the past 2 days. Sometimes it always kind of works out anyway. Like I feel like we just get lucky with this stuff to have a good show.
Yeah, it's a good show ahead. I mean, we got like Clone Wars coming out now. It's awesome. We'll get to do weekly discussions on that. I mean,
I always love having like a weekly thing to always kind of bank on, not in like the sense that like, oh, we need something, because like we always find something to talk about even when there's like two news pieces. But like
something relevant.
It's just good to have. It's just good to have something consistent every week to be excited about. Like that was what it was for Mandalorian, and now it's that with Clone Wars. And I mean, for the foreseeable future, there's always going to be something to talk about with like Star Wars and Marvel. So it's pretty exciting.
We've gotten pretty lucky as content creators around geek stuff, because we don't really have many comic book movies coming out until I think May. Well, you know what? I keep forgetting about it, but New Mutants comes out in a few weeks. I'm like completely.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's March or April. New Mutants comes out sometime really soon.
Strangely, I'm mildly excited for that movie.
Me too. It's just, I think the whole like idea or the whole like history behind it has me more intrigued.
Yeah, it has such a troubled lineage.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we basically have Clone Wars up until May, and then we'll get Black Widow, and the summer movies will start rolling. You know, we'll basically, before you know it, Star Wars Celebration is going to be here, and we're going to be doing all that. It's just like crazy. But all we have to look forward to
I can't wait for us to do a special episode for Celebration, and honestly, like we'll probably end up doing some sort of like major vlog. Like I really just want to record so much.
100%. I mean,
I still go back and look at pictures of like of 2017 of all the cosplay and stuff. Like I was randomly looking through my camera roll, and just like one of the coolest ones was like this mech R2-D2. He's like Titanfall style R2-D2, and I'm like, I just can't wait for like just crazy stuff like that.
See all the creativity from other people and stuff.
Yeah, it's insane.
100%, man. Well, Grayson's going to lead the show this week, but quickly I'm going to go over all the housekeeping stuff before we get into all the big topics. Obviously, we want you guys to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. You can find us at comicblast_. That's where you can interact with us and keep up with all the updates going around surrounding the show. And also, you can check us. You can check out our Patreon page if you'd like to help support the show. Just go on Patreon and search Comic Blast. You'll be able to find us really easily. With that being said, we want to quickly shout out our patrons. First and foremost is our sponsor, Jess, who's supported us since the very beginning of the show. And we of course include like links to all of her information in the description of every show, so go check her out and support whatever she's doing. And also want to shout out Joseph, been a loyal listener for a while now, and our newest patron, Samantha.
Just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, just want to thank you guys so much for supporting the show. And you guys were like all really cool with us taking the week off and dealing with me being sick. So really appreciate it. Other than that, let's get into the show because there's a lot of cool stuff that I want to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. So the first big thing is like that we definitely missed out on, and I think you and I have a lot of discussion to do because we've only briefly talked about it. But
yes,
that was the, I guess, roughly 2 weeks ago, which was the unveiling of that test reel for the Batman.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson in the Batman suit, and then since then, last week there has been some set photos. Of a stunt double in one of like a suit that's pretty much identical. Obviously, It's not Robert Pattinson. It somehow looks like a Ben Affleck lookalike. I don't really know how that works. I'm like, why does it look so much like Ben Affleck? I don't know. But yeah. So let's start off with the test footage.
Okay.
And then we'll go into the set photos because I feel like that has definitely changed some people's minds. So what were your thoughts on the test footage that when it first came out?
The test footage. Okay, so obviously like the suit looks very tactical. We didn't get a full body suit. We didn't even get the full cowl. So there was like very limited stuff to go off of, and they decided to do this like red filter or red lighting. So I don't know, like obviously like the test footage kind of broke the internet and got a lot of people hyped.
Right.
I don't know if I like the strategy behind releasing it that way. Just because like it was cool. First off, I just want to say the music sounds amazing so far.
Great. It's so Batman.
Yeah. But I don't know, like I don't know if I necessarily like this unveiling of it in this way. Like I'd much rather see like, I don't know, like I like what they did with like Batman versus Superman. Like the suit was
Where it
like
was just a
finished.
picture?
Yeah, the suit was finished. Zack Snyder just basically put out this really cool. I think it was on set, right?
Yeah, I think he was there with the Batmobile.
Yeah,
like
so
he unveiled the Batmobile and his suit all at the same time. I remember because he's like looking down, like very sad.
It feels like this Batman film is so early in the process. And I don't know, like I have a lot of conflicting thoughts on the whole thing, but the suit, it looked very tactical, kind of gave me this like Arkham feel, I guess, which is I'm just repeating
a lot
what
of people
everyone
have
says.
said,
yeah,
everybody's like Arkham Knight, Arkham
Yeah.
Knight. I don't know if they some people are referring like directly to the Arkham Knight as the character, and I'm like I could see a little bit of that in like the shoulder pads, I guess, but
Sure.
it feels more in terms of its like actual. To be honestly, people said Arkham Knight. The more I think about it, it reminds me more of Arkham Origins.
Sure.
Than, which I mean, that was also a very armored bat suit. I think the biggest thing that I like, well, first of all, when it comes to the unveiling, I liked it, but however, I wish it was a full look at the suit.
Right.
So I wish it would have been like, you remember that shot in Batman v Superman, where he's like interrogating Lex Luthor and he almost brands him, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's that silhouette in the hallway. Like I wish it would have started out like that and almost like it kind of like he slowly gets closer until we see like a full shot and then he maybe like disappears or something. I do like the close-up shot because I do want to see the the fine details of the suit. But
it almost had the vibe, and this is what I was worried about when the video clip came out. I was like, the fact that they're not showing everything made it feel like they were hiding something.
Yeah.
And then we can get into like the set photos, which
now
I'm like, imagine if they did show everything with that test footage. I'm not sure if it I'm not sure how that would affect everyone's viewpoint of the suit. Like if they showed everything and you got to see like the ears, which people make a huge deal about the ears, and I don't really care that much.
Really?
It's whatever. Like obviously, like I think the tall ears are like really cool. But at the same time, look at something like Ben Affleck's suit, and I'm like, that was like the best Batman suit. Like I loved that one. And I was
in what sense that did you love the Ben Affleck suit?
I don't know. It's just like it felt. It felt so well crafted. Obviously, I feel like each Batman suit kind of needs to fit the actual person. Yeah, the actor, and it fit him perfectly. It was like the perfect match. It was like a perfect marriage. Between actor and suit, and I'm not getting that vibe with Robert Pattinson.
Really?
Suit so far. So.
Okay, well, I'll say that like I really like the suit, at least in terms of like the actual body of it and everything. And the cowl I do like. However, the only thing that I didn't like was the eyes. They seemed a little like they just seemed a little too bug-like.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like very round, and I'm like I feel like they should be a sharper and more menacing looking. Especially they definitely could have done like I don't know why, but I've loved this recent trend with characters like Spider-Man and Deadpool, where they've started to make their eyes more like the comics,
Sure.
where it's like those white eyes, and I think it would have been a great opportunity to have those like those white eyes.
Yeah.
Which they did that sort of in The Dark Knight when he has like the sonar vision, and they even do it in Batman v Superman when he has the armored suit, when he's fighting Superman. But I like that. But then I was worried about the ears because to me. Maybe I'm stupid, but I like the ears are important to me, and so I never really liked Ben Affleck's like short ears.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought like he could have benefited from the slightly taller ears. I think probably the best ones that I liked were the Dark Knight Christian Bale suit ears because they were very like pointy, and they just like I don't know. I just like that kind of like high pointy ears, but I also I don't like them super short. But I saw a lot of people were like, oh, okay, there's definitely taking some inspiration from the first appearance of Batman, but because they didn't show the ears. And that, like, his cowl is almost more Wolverine-esque. And I would have loved if they had gone with that approach. But these set photos kind of shut that down. To me, first of all, the ears look really flimsy. Like, they look like just like they're made out of rubber. Like, you would, like, I think it was the Flick Pick. I think you're friends with him.
Yeah.
And I was watching his video, and he was saying like it looks like one of those things that you order off of Amazon that's like delivered from China, and it's like a rubber mask. It's like it looks really cool in the photos, and you get it, and it looks you could just like it's
you feel
just
like
so
an idiot
flimsy.
when you put it on.
Yeah, like you just look so stupid. Like it's not like you remember like that episode in Parks and Rec when Ben gets that Batman suit. That's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah.
Or like the ears look like, at least not the actual face itself, but yeah, it looks very like. So he's riding a motorcycle, and it looks almost like it's definitely more brutal looking. I feel like I don't know.
I find this Batman overall to have like a very gothic vibe to it.
That's what I was trying to. Yeah, gothic is definitely. Which that seems like they're almost kind of like taking some of those roots. Like
feels like a little bit of Tim Burton in there.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like I feel like they're going to try and adapt like the Tim Burton style. And I mean, there's been a lot of also rumors that like they're being inspired from Batman Year One.
Yeah.
Which is a great animated movie and a great comic. Which also. Batman Begins was almost very heavily inspired by that too.
Yeah.
So it seems to be a popular trend. Maybe that's why I liked the Batman v Superman interpretation so much, was because it was like, oh, this is a way older Batman, like, so we're not getting into like, oh, these early formative years of Batman. This is like a Batman who's been doing this for like 20 years, which is like, it takes a toll on a guy.
I hate myself sometimes because I'm a little bit, I constantly flip-flop my opinions based on new information. So obviously, like, I was really hyped about Robert Pattinson and hyped about Matt Reeves and overall the whole cast that's been surrounding the new Batman film. And then it just takes this suit where, like, I feel the complete opposite with you. Like, I think this suit looks hideous.
Really?
Yeah, like, I'm just like, it's not hitting any of the things that I would like. Obviously,
not
like,
even like the chest, like you
I don't
like
even
the
really
logo
care
or
for
anything.
Like, I don't really care for the bat symbol. Like,
oh man,
hot
take.
It sucks because like a lot of people are like either like or they really like it.
And you just hate it.
Where me, I'm just like, ugh. I'm like, that looks rough.
Oh no.
It's just, but at the same time, like, it's a stunt suit. Suits get tinkered with in post production. We haven't seen the cape yet, so that can enhance it a little bit.
No cape. I'm like, dude, it's gonna be a CG cape.
Lighting,
clearly.
Lighting matters, color grading matters. Like, all these things really matter.
That's why set photos are so hard to base off of. Like, I remember Civil War, like when there was like set photos of Black Panther's suit.
Oh yeah,
people were like, oh, this looks so bad, and I'm
costume.
like, yeah, it's like because it's a set
Yeah.
It's a stunt suit. And then you see Black Panther in that first Civil War trailer where he gets shot by the helicopter, and you're like, oh, that's an awesome Black Panther suit. Like, it looks amazing. And then so sometimes you just kind of have to swallow your pride and be like, all right, I eat my words.
That's where I'm at mentally. I also kind of am. I'm like holding out hope that this is like, if this is like year one, this is very early Batman before he really, maybe this is just an early suit for him.
Dude, they almost always are gonna get a second suit for toys, man.
Yeah,
that's how it works. Like,
thank God for toys, man.
I think almost every version of Batman has had like at least 2 suits.
Yeah,
like
within one movie.
Batman and Spider-Man are the most notorious for that. Where it's like, freaking Spider-Man in Far From Home had like 4 different suits.
Yeah,
like so,
it's
and
true.
then Batman, like, even I think the most minimum he had was like in the Dark Knight, where he just had like only 2, and that was about it.
When I was sick, I rewatched the whole Dark Knight trilogy in one night. And
one night?
Yeah.
How long did that take you?
Night.
Not like 9 hours?
I don't know. I started around 7, and it was probably about past around 2 a.m. when I finished everything.
Dang, man. I need to do that though. Like, I feel like you'd get so invested.
Dude, it was so refreshing because I'm like, Batman is such an amazing character.
He really is. Like, he will stand the test of time,
exactly.
As will Superman and Spider-Man. Like, that's why they're the greatest superheroes of all time.
And that's why, like, I'm very like protective over this film, or very like, and in a way, it's like, I'm kind of critical, a little bit too critical. Is because, like, my 2 favorite DC characters are Superman and Batman, and like Wonder Woman's like right there, but the fact that we haven't gotten a Superman movie in like 7 years, and then we've been on this like roller coaster of Batman films since the Dark Knight trilogy ended, where we're just like, we're having Batman vs Superman, Justice League, we're still waiting for a solo Batman movie, then it's like we're hearing Ben Affleck's doing it, then he's not, and like, oh, maybe Jake Gyllenhaal, ridiculous stuff, and I'm just I just want a good movie.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, like, I just want a good movie.
Yeah.
And I think the movie will be great. This is just a suit, the director's great, and I'm sure they'll come up with something great. So
I'm still optimistic for this movie.
I am too.
And there's also like these rumors that like, oh, he's gonna get another suit later in the movie, and I'm like, yeah. Probably. Like, that's just the way these things work, is he gets an upgrade or whatever. Plus, like, Batman has had so many suits over the years.
Right.
Like, even in the comics, like, it's like, that's just the thing. So
I've been on like a DC high lately.
Really?
So yeah, and I just like,
I saw you posted a picture of Arkham Knight.
Yep.
Like, you were playing Arkham Knight, and I was like, not Spider-Man?
Yeah, I did. I sneak in a little bit of Spider-Man here and there, but you've been like posting Spider-Man pictures with like songs on your stories, and then I'm like,
yeah,
I gotta play it. Like, I'll have to play it.
Yeah, if you haven't, we didn't say our personal social media. We usually wait till the end of the episode.
Yeah.
But his is obviously at Keenan Creates. Mine is at Schradester8. On Instagram, on every Wednesday, every Wednesday I post people's requests. But I also post stuff throughout the week of just random songs that I like to think of. But I've been doing this thing where I'll take pictures in photo mode, and I'm inspired by a song, or I usually use a song that I think just fits well with it.
Yeah.
I've done quite a bit so far. I think I'm hitting. I've only been doing it for about 2 weeks or so, but I'm starting to I'm hoping if I keep on doing it for a while, I'll have like a huge portfolio of pictures. But yeah, if you go follow me on there, and on every Wednesday I post the requests, like the poll or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
You can send a request for a song, and I'll listen to it, and I will try to make a photo that I think fits with it. And obviously it's not going to be like, probably not the same of what you think, but I try to just this song kind of makes me feel this way or think this thing. So yeah, I have the entire highlights on my actual profile, so you can go and look through all those. But yeah, anyway, that was a whole side thing. I just forgot to mention that because I started that right after we did the last episode.
Yep.
So anyway, so I guess we're done with Batman stuff. So next up is Clone Wars. The first episode came out Friday, so that would have been 4 days ago.
Yeah.
So let me ask you first. First of all, did you finish your Clone Wars rewatch?
I did not finish it. I was so pressed for time that I just had to go on YouTube and finish it through summaries.
You disappoint me.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a confession. I know you're not gonna like this, and I hate to say this. There's a lot of Clone Wars that's filler. And
yeah, definitely. Dude, I could have given you all the best episodes. I have a list.
That would have been helpful because I'm very I do not like to waste my time, and I started getting a little bit frustrated because I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, I barely
give me an example of an episode because I feel like I know one specifically.
In the earlier seasons, I think there's a little bit of filler.
There's a lot more earlier. Like the first 3 seasons have a lot more, and then the last 3 seasons
picks up a little bit.
Yeah, it's like, all right, there's a lot less filler.
I don't think that this final season is going to be filled with filler.
No, they don't have the time.
Yeah, I got to a point where I'm just like, I can't do it. Like I can't do it. I just need the summary because, it's whatever. I'm years late on it as it is. Like I remember watching it when I was younger, but I don't remember much from it. So I was just like, let me just get a summary and I'll finish it off. Because I definitely feel like I have less of an emotional attachment to Clone Wars than you do.
Yes, I have a very high attachment to Clone Wars.
Yeah, I mean you were a lot younger than I was when I was watching it. So you things just hit you differently when you grow up with it.
Yeah,
at a young age.
Nostalgia, man.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, because the movie came out in 2008.
I was
August
probably
2008.
15.
Yeah, that probably. I mean, when I was 15, I probably still would have been because I watched Rebels when it came out.
When
I was 15.
Based on this rewatch of Clone Wars and Rebels, I kind of found myself enjoying watching Rebels more. As weird as it sounds.
We should get into that in a little bit because I actually have a question for you regarding all this stuff. But overall, but you watched the new episode?
Yeah, I watched it and I was fully aware of what was going on and everything like that, so I didn't feel lost.
How far did you make it in your rewatch?
I think I was about 4 seasons worth of episodes.
Did you get to the wrong Jedi arc involving Ahsoka?
No.
Did you watch the Umbara arc?
Shout out to Star Wars Explained
Dude,
for his recap of everything.
I'm gonna give you wherever you got up to. I'm just gonna give you my list of episodes, and you're just gonna go through, make sure you got them all. They're in order of chronologically, but there's 4 arcs that I don't think you watched that you desperately have to watch because it emotionally will hit you so much more, and you're going to be very glad that you watched them. Yeah. I'll give it to you after because
I'd appreciate
I'm
that.
sorry, but this makes me sick, Keenan. I'm kidding.
It's okay.
It's okay. We'll
get through
there.
it together.
We'll work through it, man. What did you think of the new episode?
It was solid. It was a solid Kickstarter, I guess.
It's not filler, definitely.
Yeah, it's just a solid first episode. I think.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of this, but I read somewhere that this episode was essentially out there, the whole plot and a lot of shots were used from the past. Mm-hmm. This is an unfinished episode, right?
Yeah, so essentially there was these episodes they called the lost episodes or whatever, and they were I don't remember exactly, but essentially they came out with there was 2 arcs that they came out with that had unfinished animation.
Yeah.
But they uploaded them later, they uploaded them to StarWars.com. So it was this arc, and then there was one involving the Utapau with the General Grievous and a gigantic kyber crystal, which was later found out to be used for the Death Star. They're not doing that second one, but they're finishing up the Bad Batch. So I've seen all of the I know exactly what happens in this entire thing.
Yeah.
So this is but this is just cool to see the polish and it finally being finished because now they've got that Disney money and you can see how much more advanced the animation 100%. And the lighting, and it's so much more fluid. You compare it to season 1 of Clone Wars, right? And you compare it season 7 to season 1, it's night and freaking day, man. And so I that's probably the best thing, but I love the concept of like, first of all, they named a task force of clones after 99, which I don't know if you watched that episode but like that was one of my favorite episodes because it's like, essentially 99 was a clone that had like, he was like a deformed clone, right? And all he was just kind of like, he worked on Kamino to help people out, and he sacrifices his life like actually when Kamino gets attacked. And it's a great episode. It makes me cry, man. But I'm also a very emotional person, so and so it's cool that they like named that, like they made genetically like altered clones.
Yep.
And yeah, it was a great episode. Some of the shots were awesome, and the action was really well paced.
The action is some of the best like Star Wars animated action.
Some of the best Clone Wars, and just some of the best animated action in general. Like there's a shot that like I saw. Sorry, my nose is itching really badly, and I don't really know why. There is a shot where they're going into like this compound, and it's like a continuous shot.
Yeah,
and they're like making their way into this control room, and it's just so. I'm like, I never really thought. I was like, wow, these animated shows can actually have good cinematography, even if they didn't actually film anything. Like this is all computer based. But they're still doing these awesome shots, and it's a really cool creative thing, especially like when you're into filmmaking and all of that stuff. Like it's just super cool to see. But yeah, I was pretty happy with the episode, and even though I know everything that goes on, well, there was definitely some stuff that's apparently, according to Dave Filoni, and I could tell because there was some certain parts that they cut out.
Yep.
They cut out some parts of the episodes, and then they added some new stuff in. But for the most part, it's like the same episode. Like there's some shots that I'm like, yeah, you can like they literally compared them, and I'm like, this is the exact same
Identical.
thing. They just finished the shots.
Yep.
But yeah, I kind of anticipated that this was going to be the first set of episodes because these are the least like consequential. Mm-hmm. And then I'm assuming the next one's going to be about Ahsoka on Coruscant, and then after that it's going to be the Siege of Mandalore. And it really bums me out that it's only going to be 12 episodes, and that seems like such a nitpicky thing. I'm like, dude, just be grateful that like Clone Wars is back. I am.
Yeah.
God, you don't know how glad I am. Like when they got announced, I literally screamed. Like I was in like a convention with my parents for like some business trip, and I like screamed out there, and my dad like freaked out too. It was awesome. But there's one arc that I wish so desperately that they would have finished, because they never released the episodes, and maybe they will, I don't know, or like the unfinished episodes. But there was one, and it was at the celebration that we went to in 2017, and I'm sure you may remember it. If not, I'll send you the clip.
Probably.
And it was an arc involving Boba Fett and Cad Bane.
I watched it there. Like I was at Dave Filoni's panel for that.
You were okay, so you were there.
Yeah,
you
it was
saw
Pablo
it
Hidalgo and Dave Filoni were there.
And man, and that is the one arc that I'm like, I wish if they had done one more, I wish it was that one.
It was super unfinished. Like you've seen it. You've seen it though, right? Like
I saw the clip. I mean, it's the same way they did the Bad Batch and the Crystal Crisis. Like, so it's not like finished animation or anything, but like, I really wish they would have done it, because first of all, Cad Bane is like the coolest bounty hunter in Star Wars. I don't care what anybody says, even if it's the Mandalorian's pretty cool, but come on, Cad Bane. And essentially, it's like apparently like Cad Bane and Jango Fett had like a rivalry. Mm-hmm. And then Jango Fett just gets killed, so he's like, well, he'll never know who's the better bounty hunter, you know? And it's essentially them being like their ego getting to them, like, and so what he decides to do, which seems like a really stupid thing to do, but he essentially trains Boba Fett to be like at the point where Jango Fett was at.
Yeah.
And then I guess they have like a duel. There's some clearly like some things, like some people are holding this guy hostage, and I'm not sure exactly what's going on. You can see like Bosk and a couple of other bounty hunters that appeared in some previous episodes, but then they get into a shootout. Like they get into like a straight up Western duel.
Yeah. And
then they both shoot each other, and then like it just cuts to a shot of like Boba Fett's helmet on the ground, and it has like the dent from like the iconic like pock mark and I'm like, it's such a cool little detail.
Right.
And I just wish we would have got to see that, because I think that would have been a cool change of pace. Like I think it would have been cool to have been like, all right, let's have Bad Batch, then let's have this arc. Then we have two Ahsoka arcs back to back, and then that would have been like a really cool final season.
Yeah.
So it just kind of sucks that we only get 12 episodes, but I'm not complaining. Like I'm just glad that we have it back. And I'm excited for next week. There's not really much else I can say.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, I just went on this whole free rant about Clone Wars, but you can
I
clearly
agree
tell
with
how
everything you're saying,
passionate.
though. Yeah.
So yeah, continuing on to more Star Wars stuff, because on Comic Blast we do love Star Wars. Oh, by the way, my family, they went to Galaxy's Edge without me.
Oh my God, are you serious?
No, I mean, they did, but it wasn't like in an intentional way. They had this plan for months. I deliberately like sacrificed myself.
For what reason?
I had a lot of schoolwork that weekend. There was also my school's.
I would have took
my
Fs.
School's formal, dude. It was 2 major papers, and also I would have missed out on my school's formal, and also would have lost money, and it just was really stressful. So I would have missed a lot of school and everything. So I just decided not to go. I was like, I just want to go when it's a more stress-free time. And from what they told me, it was really packed there anyway. So like, I would have loved to have gone, but I'm glad that I didn't go. But they sent me a ton of pictures. They got to go into the cantina and everything. Yeah. But they brought me back some souvenirs. I'm actually looking at one right now. You may have seen it, but it's like this, essentially like this, kind of like this old school mannequin style doll.
The Darth Vader one?
Darth Vader, yeah.
Yeah,
and it's super neat. They also, so essentially each of the 3 got me like one thing.
Yeah.
And so that was from my sister. And then my mom got me like a droid coffee mug, because rest in peace, my Spider-Man mug. Remember that Spider-Man mug?
Yeah,
that
that's
you
sad.
Yeah.
I saw that. You broke it.
Yeah, actually, it wasn't me. It was my friend James. I hate you, James.
Oh, God.
Just kidding.
Does he listen to this podcast?
If he does, or I hope he does, but if he doesn't, I'm going to force him to.
Yeah.
But yeah, he like threw it out of my car. No, he didn't throw it out of my car, but anyway, it fell out, and I was like, "What the heck, man?" Yeah, so I got a new Star Wars mug. It's pretty dope. It has like R2D2 and like BB-8 and stuff. It says like Black Spire Outpost on the inside.
Nice.
On like Arabesh or whatever. And then my dad got me a set of 20 limited edition posters, like in this book, and it's all these like variant posters.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I don't even have enough wall space for this. So I'm kind of just keeping them up to the side because I don't want to put them up and mess them up or anything. Yeah. But at some point, I'm going to put them all up there. I'll probably frame them, actually.
That'd be smart.
I think they're like, they're not that big. They're not like a huge poster or anything. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars, all that stuff. You're going in very soon again.
Yeah. Like a week, actually.
Give me more stuff. Give me more Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, what do you we'll discuss it now. What are you like looking for? That's not like a lightsaber. Something on the cheaper end.
Dang it. I'm just kidding. No, you get me too much, man. I'm not going to ask you to get me something.
All right, well, I'll get you something. So.
Oh my gosh. I mean, but if you're going to get me something, I would love a Sabacc set.
Okay, yeah. I can probably do that.
No,
that's reasonable.
Dude, I owe Keenan so much. I'm gonna buy him a car one day.
That'd be cool.
That'd be neat. Okay, anyway, back on to our regular scheduled program. The High Republic, man. So last night, there was this whole thing, apparently. I don't know where this was at. Do you know?
StarWars.com.
Yeah, sure. Apparently, they held something.
Where they held it? Oh, God.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about like what news outlet put it out. I was like,
no. I know it was on StarWars.com, but I remember like there was some people at like an event that they like showed it off. But essentially, there had been this thing for a while that Lucasfilm had been teasing, or actually more specifically, I guess the writing side of Star Wars involving like the comics and everything.
Yeah.
We're talking about this project called Project Luminous, which was in reference to like Yoda's quote of like luminous beings we deal not with such crude matters from Empire Strikes Back, I think. And so everybody's like, what is this? And it had like Charles Soule, who like he wrote some of the best Star Wars comics. He wrote
still is.
I think he did this. So the most recent Kylo Ren series, which I'm waiting for that to actually fully come out because I want to read that like from cover to cover.
Same.
He did a smaller Darth Vader run because there's like 15 trillion Darth Vader comics, and then there was like he also did the Lando miniseries, which is such a good such a good comic book miniseries. You should totally check that one out if you haven't. And then there was like Claudia Gray, who's like a really prominent Star Wars writer. She did Master and Apprentice, and
Probably
I think
the
she
biggest
did,
one out right now, like
yes,
writing.
Yes, definitely. She did Lost Stars, which is considered to be one of the most like one of the best young like YA Star Wars novels.
Yeah.
So she's great. And there was a couple of other people that I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was a very big deal. And people were like, "What is this?" Well, they announced it was the High Republic era, and it's essentially this entire new era of Star Wars comics and movies and everything. Not shows or games or anything. It just seems to be all, I guess physical media. Well, that's not the
It's
best
just
way
like
to put
books
it. Like
and comics and
yeah, like just like literature based stuff.
extra canon stuff.
Yeah, like I mean, it's a lot of the stuff that Star Wars, while it's before even Disney started, was
Yeah.
books and comics and all that, and I love that stuff. I'm reading A New Dawn right now, which is about Kanan and Hera before Rebels, and so far it's great. And I finished Dooku Jedi Lost a couple weeks ago, and that was a great book as well. The audiobooks, by the way, for Star Wars are like insanely high quality. So if you ever just get bored or you need to commute or somewhere,
Yeah.
buy a Star Wars book and just listen to it on your car ride. Like, remember that that Wolverine thing we talked about a
I
year
missed
ago?
that, dude. I had a lot of fun listening to those.
Yeah, dude. I honestly want to re-listen to the original one, and then I think they came out with the new one,
It
like the
did.
second one,
It's,
and we never
finished.
talked about it.
I
Yeah, we need to
Man,
talk about that at some
throwback.
point.
That was like the first few weeks of the podcast last
Dude,
year.
that
We
was-
were doing
I remember
that.
when I discovered that, and that was like a huge thing.
We
Fun
talked about it like
times.
every week too.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
I love that. Anyway, so yeah, the High Republic is like this whole new era. It's like 200 years before the movies, like the Phantom Menace. There's like this whole thing with these people called the Nihil, or the Nile, which are not the Nile River, but Nihil.
Yeah. The Nile.
Which are like space Vikings, they said, pretty
Yeah,
much.
Space
That's what they're
Vikings and pirate looking people.
Yeah, essentially bad men or women or non-gender specific creatures.
Robots.
Yeah, I don't know everything. But it's all these, I guess, just the Jedi in their prime. So, I mean,
That's
me-
that's the most intriguing thing to me right there.
yeah, it's going to be a very Jedi-centric era.
Hallelujah. Oh my God.
I mean, the artwork looks fantastic. It's
Yeah.
it's all these Jedi in these just slightly different, they're not prequel era robes. It's one of the most interesting ones was there's Jedis that are essentially Texas Rangers.
It's the
I was
high point. It's the high point of the Jedi.
The High Republic.
Ba-doop-sh.
I'll be here all week. Sorry, I just had to take a sip of water.
Yeah, I was about to say, what happened there?
Yeah, I had a stroke actually. I'm just kidding. Did not. Yeah. What are your thoughts on this? Because I know you and I we're both Star Wars fans, but we consume our Star Wars media slightly differently. So I'm curious what your thoughts are.
I mean, you're
first.
way more into side canon, and
I am.
it's you absorb it all, and I'm very, very selective about what I absorb because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there might be some interesting things out there that's fun to read, but unless it adds to my experience with the films
Mm-hmm.
or television series, I'm not super invested in it. I'm just
Yeah.
I can skip on that, and I'll never know that happened, and it will never affect my viewing experience for these films.
Yes.
Whereas something the Rogue One book that came out before Rogue One, Catalyst, I was I really wanted to read that. I enjoyed that, and it definitely enhances the film. So I'm very selective when it comes to this stuff. I kind of am a little bit more intrigued because it's something different with new characters that we get to explore. At the same time, I'm I was hoping that we are gonna get some announcement for movies soon.
Yeah.
And in that aspect, it was just a tiny bit disappointing. But I do like that they're dedicating a lot of time and resources to expanding the Star Wars universe. So that's something new that really, they haven't. Obviously, they've been releasing novels and comics. But they're
Very
really putting an
consistently.
emphasis on this.
Yeah, I mean, they said this is a project they've been working on for a long time. They
Right.
just got all of these Star Wars content not YouTubers, but essentially
the
these
all-stars
Star
of
Wars
writers.
storytellers. Yes,
Yeah.
like the elite of the elite, and they just put them in a room together, and they're like, What stories do you guys want to tell? There's a video on Star Wars' YouTube channel. It's like 4 minutes long. If you're if intrigued at all, definitely watch it, especially with like the behind the scenes stuff.
Right.
It was a really fascinating video.
My favorite part of that video was somebody, when they were trying to come up with like the ideas for this, somebody asked, they're like, what do the Jedi fear? And I think that like the best part, like the best storytellers are able to like ask questions and kind of like find a way to write themselves into answering that question. Like you come up with these questions. Anyways, along with that, I saw a meme or like somebody on Twitter, and they quoted it and said, what do the Jedi fear? And it was a picture of what's the giant like monster lizard looking thing in Jedi Fallen Order that everybody hated.
Ogdo Bogdo?
Yeah. It's like, what did the Jedi fear? And it was just a picture of that. I was like, that's so funny, dude, because like that thing killed me a million times. Yeah.
That was like one of the most difficult bosses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that's actually really funny. I wish I had seen that.
I'll send it to you.
I mean,
It's funny.
I'm all in for this stuff, man. Like, especially just as like a Star Wars fiend. Like, sometimes I worry for myself, Keenan. Like, should I be worried?
I'm happy you said that, because I worry for you too.
In the sense that I'm too obsessed?
Nah, I'm just kidding. Like, I love it because like you pass on knowledge to me. Like,
true. Okay, I gotta tell this like little story, but like it was really funny. So I'm sitting there on the couch in Blue Hill, which is the name of the coffee shop that I go to school at. Oh God, if you look that up, you're gonna find where I live. I'm kidding. It's fine. You come say hey to me. Please don't kill me. And I'm sitting there reading Star Wars: A New Dawn. Coincidentally, the guy that comes up to me to ask this question does not even know that, and he's in one of my classes. And he knew that I was a big Star Wars fan because I'm like literally the biggest Star Wars fan on campus. I go to a very small school, and he comes up to me, he's like, hey, Grayson, he's like, I have a question for you, because we were talking about it earlier. He's like, are there any other, like, characters besides Darth Maul that use double-bladed lightsabers? And, dude, I go on a full TED talk about, about characters that use double-bladed lightsabers. I'm like, well, there was Pong Krell in the Clone Wars, and he had 2 double-bladed lightsabers, but they flipped. And then there was Savage Opress, who was Darth Maul's brother, and blah, 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 blah. In Jedi Fallen Order, you get a double-bladed lightsaber, all this stuff. And he was like, okay. Like, he's like, yeah, I know you're like, I always just ask you, like, I told him, like, you can always just look up Wikipedia. And he was like, I'd rather ask you because I feel like you're more trustworthy. And I was like,
yeah.
And I was like, thank you. That means so much to me.
It's the biggest, like, if you want to make Grayson's day, just talk to him about his Star Wars knowledge, and he'll feel great about it.
Just don't be scared, please. Like, I just really love Star Wars, and so sometimes I have to apologize in advance. I'm like, sorry, I just really like Star Wars. But yeah, I'm totally in for the High Republic stuff. I think what I'm most excited for is Claudia Gray's novel, and definitely the Charles Soule comic, but I think there's definitely going to be more stuff.
Yeah.
And whatever the Jedi fear, they show like some concept art of like these weird like Force demon things. I don't know what they are, but they look really cool. Force demons are my favorite.
Force demons.
Oh God, because this is during a time when the Sith don't exist. So what I'm most anticipating is like, I really love when Star Wars deals with like sectors or cults of like people or individuals that like that use the Force in a different way. They're not just the dark side or the light side, or they're not just the Jedi and the Sith. So there's like, you know, the Night Sisters was probably the biggest one in the Clone Wars, which I'm like, they literally use it as like magic. And then there was like Zeb's race. I forget what they're called Lasats.
Yeah.
And their entire like religion was based on the Force, but they didn't call it the Force. They called it like, I don't remember exactly. I think I'm going to start rewatching Rebels soon, by the way.
Me too.
But yeah, like that was a whole thing with that. And so I really like that, and I'm hoping there's like this really like something that's not the Sith, but is like really dark side. Like that's why people always are like, Kylo Ren's a Sith. He's not a Sith. The Knights of Ren are like followers of the dark side, but they are not Sith. So
when
wrecked.
when they were announcing this whole project, Did you get the feeling like I kind of thought that they were gonna announce the new animated show,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
obviously it didn't happen. Now I'm like, okay, they're probably gonna wait until Celebration because
Absolutely. I think
it's
they're definitely
the
going to make
time.
it. There's been some leaks. This isn't on our show notes, but there's been some leaks for the new show that's apparently like it's going to be an animated show on Disney Plus, run by Dave Filoni, and it's going to be a sequel show to Rebels in the sense that like it's going to be about spoilers for Rebels ahead. If you haven't seen it, you totally should. But about Ahsoka and Sabine going out to find Ezra and Thrawn.
Oh
well,
my god, dude!
more
I
so
freaking love
Ezra.
that.
Yeah, like that seems to be the concept. And I was like, as long as the animation is really good, like honestly, I want the animation to be a blend between Rebels and Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Because like Clone Wars is very sharp and like fluid, whereas Rebels is a bit more rounded, I guess, and in terms of its shapes and stuff, and it's a lot more like original trilogy. And I think it'd be really cool if we got like a blend of like Clone Wars and Rebels. So yeah, hopefully that gets announced at Celebration, and maybe we'll be in the panel for it.
I know we have a topic that we're probably gonna get into soon. When's like the next like slated movie? Was it 2022? Like this
That
next
early?
slot?
I don't know. I think
remember.
I feel like it was 22 or 23.
Oh man, so Celebration will be interesting this year then, because I mean, they're probably gonna primarily be focusing on Disney Plus stuff like The Mandalorian. Probably some
Mandalorian, Cassian Andor,
Yeah,
Kenobi as well.
Kenobi. Yeah, that's that comes out next year, right?
Yeah, I think they'll definitely put an emphasis. I think that'll probably. I feel like Kenobi's going to come out before. Well, it depends. Celebration is always weird because it's like sometimes it's in like April and then sometimes it's like in August with this one, and then sometimes it's in like July, and I'm like, I don't
just pick a freaking month, man.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out this year because I'm like, honestly, like it's right at the beginning of the semester, so I can get away with it.
I'll be done with school, so.
Oh, you'll be done?
Yeah, I'll be done. Well, I'll have like I'm doing like a graphic arts program, but that's
nice.
very, very minor. So
it won't be very consequential or detrimental to you.
Not at all. But yeah, I was thinking today. I was like, I really hope that they find something to do with the Han Solo spinoff or something. Like, I don't really want a Lando show, but I would like to see more of like the Solo stuff. I feel like we were really robbed of seeing more live action Darth Maul, and that really like eats me alive.
That's the biggest thing I was about to say. I'm like, what I care about is like I love Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo and stuff, and I love Donald Glover. I was about to say Childish Gambino as Lando.
Yeah,
but I feel like they're so busy. Well, yeah, I feel like they'd be busy doing other things that even though they did sign contracts, I think that to like come back. So who knows? But the thing that I'm most intrigued in is I want to see Kira and Maul, whatever's going on with that, because there's an entirely open-ended thread when you watch Solo about that, and Maul still has a lot of unexplored stories between wherever he leaves off at the end of this new season of Clone Wars and then where he's at in Rebels.
Dude, if they just announced like a Darth Maul show, I'd lose my mind. I don't know how you would do it or pull it off without there being like a protagonist, but just seeing like I could just be at Star Wars Celebration and they just like put up this title that just says like Maul or something like that. I'll lose my freaking mind.
There's been so much debate on whether they're going to do a Maul movie or whatever, but like I mean, there's literally like I think roughly 15 years of content about Darth Maul that's like just not explored.
I need it in live action.
And dude, Maul, man, such a great character. Yeah. Like what a great redemption story of a character that like was essentially wasted.
Yeah.
And then they like made him awesome, like one of the most developed characters. Would have been cool if they did that for Phasma. And they better do it for Boba Fett. Jeez. I'm just saying, man. Like, if Boba Fett is in this new season of Mandalorian and he's like a rival to the actual Mandalorian, that would be genius. That's like the popular theory going on.
Yeah, I think it's gonna happen. I watched The Last Jedi last night. I don't think I told you that.
Oh no.
Yeah. We can go to the next topic if you want.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Well, actually, do I want to ask this question?
Do it.
Let's make this really brief.
I really want to talk about it.
Okay, so I was thinking of this question while driving, especially with the whole High Republic stuff. So it's been about seven-ish years. Actually, it'll be, I think in fall of this year, it'll be 7 years since Disney acquired Star Wars.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, I'm like, okay, so the High Republic is clearly this new era of Star Wars for their storytelling and stuff. So the question I have for you, and I already have a couple of answers, has been your favorite Star Wars story or material, or like not material, like your favorite Star Wars story or stories has come out since Disney has like with the current canon of Star Wars.
New current canon. Like, are you saying like I have to say I like the movies or I like the shows, or do I get to pick specifically
one? So for example,
oh shoot, that's hard. Actually.
So like, for example, it's like, okay, I really liked the Charles Soule Lando comic.
Yeah.
I really liked Master and Apprentice, and I really liked The Mandalorian or Jedi Fallen Order or something like that. Like the things that have stood out to you the most and it can be a movie. It could be The Force Awakens, which I'm sure is up there for you, or it could be The Rise of Skywalker or Rogue One, anything like that. But like and it also the shows, everything. So I'm just curious, like what you think.
It's tough to say because first off, I want to say since Disney has bought Star Wars, like I complain about so much about Disney Star Wars, but I've actually liked most of the stuff that they've done. I just get frustrated by the way
stuff that we don't talk about.
Yeah,
you know?
I just get frustrated by like everything that they do. Like they find a way to like mess it up before they actually like redeem it, which I guess is just really it's really the story of Star Wars itself. Like it's all about redemption, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, like The Mandalorian is, I think to two different time periods. I think about from the Force Awakens era to up into The Last Jedi, and how like I felt. I had just this like childlike excitement, about Star Wars, and then I also think about the Mandalorian era up into the Rise of Skywalker. Those two like just sections in time. I have this just like great feeling because I was feeling really nostalgic just about playing like Jedi Fallen Order and knowing that like in a few hours I'm gonna watch The Mandalorian episode 2 or something like that, you know. And those are the things that I really appreciate from Disney. Although they've had like, I can't say like specifically I like all the video games because like they've struggled on that end. Too, they've struggled not so much with the shows, but they've struggled heavily with the films. Almost every film has had its issues. Ironically, the most divisive film that they've done had the easiest production, which is The Last Jedi. But every other film had like major production issues. But overall, like I mean, it's weird to say, but I probably wouldn't want Star Wars in anyone else's hands other than Disney. When I think about all the other like studios that are out right now, I couldn't imagine any other studio.
Even if it was still owned by Fox, they would have acquired it.
Exactly.
They would have acquired Star Wars. I mean, so it was inevitable, I guess. So give me your top 3 choices of your favorite stories.
All right, top 3.
Or just aspects.
In no particular order. Jedi Fallen Order, I think Cal Kestis is like one of the most underrated Star Wars characters.
I knew you were going to say that one.
As soon as like a few weeks after the game, I feel like people stopped talking about that character. And I'm like, not even that long ago, I just like popped in Jedi Fallen Order just to like kind of bring back some feels. And I'm like, as soon as it starts, I'm like, freaking Cal is awesome. Like you get to really see him grow, and
Cameron Monaghan does a great job with his performance. 100%. I'd love to see him in a live action.
Yes. I was thinking that too. And then Mandalorian is obviously like there. And I mean, for films, I don't know, like Rogue One.
I was about to say, I feel like Rogue One is going to be one for you.
Yeah, I think Rogue One just like sticks with me a little bit more. It's grown with me, and I like. There's a special place in my heart for The Rise of Skywalker too. I love it so much.
Same.
So, yeah. What about you?
So for me, I'm thinking about it. I feel like if I had gone to Galaxy's Edge, that would be on there. And that counts.
Oh,
like that is a part of Disney Star Wars that would not exist without it. It is a story in and of itself.
Oh man.
So we'll go and put that on your list.
Yeah.
Like one of your favorite things. So I think for me, I think number one has to be Rebels.
Okay.
I think that show. I mean, that show has been the one show that has made me like. It's like that and The Office that like made me like more emotional than any other show, and like I just got so attached to the characters. I would say Clone Wars, but Clone Wars really wasn't Disney's in the first place, and I consider that before them. So yeah, Rebels probably number one, and anything just involving Kanan or Ahsoka really has just like been some of the most standout stuff. Like the Kanan comic and currently the like A New Dawn, which I'm reading right now, are both just so good. He's a fantastic character. Next thing is Battlefront 2. Not the story, but just the game itself.
Just the feels playing with your friends and stuff.
Yes, like I mean the impact that game has made. I mean like it is probably like the game I play the most. Like whenever I get the chance, and I rarely have the chance to play video games anymore. Let me tell you, I don't play games at all anymore, man. Like it may seem like I'm playing like Spider-Man and stuff all the time. I get on there for like an hour and I make those photos and then I'm like off. And so Battlefront 2 is like one of the few things I'm like I get on there with my best friend and we just goof off and like we are just unapologetically our goofy selves playing Hero Showdown or co-op, and we're just talking about like life stuff and everything. And that game has just had such a great redemption story in terms of its content. New update tomorrow for Age of Rebellion stuff looks super sweet. They're finally adding new blasters. Hallelujah. Anyway, so yeah, Battlefront 2 is definitely up there. And then I want to say I don't like the movies have been really good, but like I don't know if like any of them have been like the most like impactful for me in terms of like I guess I'm just thinking of ones that just really stand out as like stories that I love.
Right.
And like Rogue One is really good, and honestly, the Rise of Skywalker, the same. Like I share the same opinion with both of those. That like they both have a very special place in my heart. I don't know, man. That's probably like kind of it for me in terms of like not it, but like we'll probably go Mandalorian. By the way, I need to send you something after, and I'm gonna just go ahead and talk about it. There's this guy that I found on YouTube, and so essentially he recomposes a lot of like Star Wars, well, not just Star Wars, but like a lot of different like compositions, and he makes like epic versions of them, or even more like somber versions.
Yeah.
His name is Samuel Kim. He's also on Apple Music and Spotify. Like some of the stuff is on there, but if you go to his YouTube channel, there is just a gold mine of like themes and everything like that. And he made one for The Mandalorian that like, I mean, The Mandalorian theme is like, it really sticks out to me, but I've been listening to his version, which is like an epic version of it. And like, dude, it is so good. He even
please send that to me.
He crossed it over with Rocky and it's perfect. Like the Mandalorian theme with Rocky, which is weirdly enough, like the guy who did the Mandalorian score did Creed.
Yeah.
So, he's also done like Republic Commando. He just came out with a Boba Fett one today, which was insanely good. Just so much great stuff, like Duel of the Fates. Like he redid Duel of the Fates, and it's like it's so good. So yeah, I don't know. I was just curious to see, like, you know, because we often complain a lot about Disney Star Wars, like you said, but like we have gotten a lot of great stuff, and I mean, every single one of the books and comics that I've read, I've enjoyed, and I don't know, it's just everything that they're coming out with is still like continues to stick with me, and even though I think the best stuff has been outside of the movies, I'm still thankful that we have that stuff outside of the movies, because like back before there was a lot of great stuff back before canon that was like that, but I mean, that's all there was. And so I think it's just cool to have. The best part about Disney Star Wars is that like everything is interconnected and acknowledges one another. Like it's like there's no like overlap. Well, there are sometimes contradictions, minor contradictions, but overall it's still like it's all one continuous universe told through all these mediums, and that's really cool. Okay, anyway, we've been talking about Star Wars for like way too long.
I love it.
So let's move on to probably like the last two things before, because we're kind of cutting it close. First thing is the Cletus Cassidy on set for Venom 2.
Yeah.
There's been some photos of Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy. What are you thinking about these?
Yeah, I mean, Woody Harrelson got him. Like, he born to play this character or what, because it's just like he looks so goofy on set. The hairstyle is like hilarious, but
yeah.
I still am so intrigued and excited for this movie for some reason. I think it's going to surprise people.
I think it is too, but I'm not feeling these set photos. The Hawaiian shirt and I just him with red hair, like I don't
know. It's working for me. It's much better than the hair that he had at the end of Venom.
Oh my freaking Ronald McDonald!
Yeah.
Good lord.
There will be carnage. Yeah, that was cringe. I don't know.
Have you seen Venom ever again?
No, I haven't.
Me neither. Cool.
Although there's been times where I'm like, maybe I should rewatch it and see what I feel about it now. But I mean, like overall with Venom,
that's Satan tempting you.
Yeah. I mean, like there's some cringe parts in it, but my biggest problem with the movie was that I just found it boring and dry and bland. Like I didn't have any fun watching it. And
except for that Spider-Verse post-credit scene.
Yeah, the third act was just like we have two symbiotes fighting. And I could not tell what the heck was going on. Like, I was like, who is winning?
It's so dark. I just felt like that entire day was just dark.
Yeah. That movie sucks. But I'm really excited for Venom 2, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of really cool stuff coming, but we can get into
the most thing, obviously, I think we're most excited for is just Andy Serkis in general.
Yep.
Like, I just want to see what he's going to do with it.
Yeah.
Because I think I retweeted something the other day, but like that man does not get enough credit in Hollywood. Like he is a really good performer.
He's a Swiss Army knife of Hollywood. Like he does
everything. They really they should acknowledge CG characters as actors.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the man was Gollum, he was Snoke, he was Caesar. Like the list goes on.
But I mean, even then, like outside of his. I mean, CG's like Claw. I was like, holy crap! I'm like, this character's awesome.
By the way, I thought about if I get my schoolwork done in time, I'm kind of feeling Black Panther.
Yes, same.
You know what? I haven't seen that movie since the second time I saw it in theaters.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Dude, no, it's not that good.
It's great.
It's okay. I'm just kidding. It's like a 8 out of 10.
It's the biggest problem with that film is the ending where the CGI just gets so bad.
The CG rhinos, man. Like what? I don't.
Yeah, and the whole King. Down.
The biggest waste is that Claw dies.
Really? Yes, I agree.
I'm like, dude, I love just like, why did you shoot him? He's just like spread out the crime scene. Like, oh man, like
yeah,
and it, just like his
like amateurs.
His like just like giddiness and like just his like untamed insanity is just great.
I gotta watch that again.
So I think he's gonna. I've never really seen him as like a director, but I think he's gonna do great for this. And so, I feel like him and Woody Harrelson are gonna like get along really well. I don't know why. Like I feel like they would just be like they would be like really good buds, and so would Tom Hardy. Honestly, like all three of them. Like I feel like they're gonna that trio is gonna bring a lot.
I think so too.
To Venom too.
I think people are gonna be surprised.
Yeah, and especially after Morbius. With whatever's going on, we'll see what happens.
That comes out this year too, doesn't it? I'm forgetting about all these comic book movies coming out.
I mean, I think the next biggest thing is Black Widow, and then we've got Wonder Woman 84, and then 2 Sony movies.
Eternals.
And then, oh, man. Yeah.
There's a lot.
And then, I mean, and then Disney Plus stuff, like 2 shows at the end of this year.
Plus the Mandalorian.
Man, it's gonna get crazy.
That's fine.
This is.
I am okay. I'm up for the challenge.
This is greatly beneficial for us.
Yes.
I see this as an absolute win.
Okay, Dr. Hulk.
Okay, last thing is Marvel's Avengers, the game. I don't feel like we've talked about this game at all, except when it got announced.
Yeah.
But we were talking about it before the show, and like, what is going on with this game? Why are we not excited for it at all?
I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't even care if I play this or not, because everything that I see from it, I'm just like, this looks not good at all. I don't like.
I think we're spoiled with Spider-Man, and maybe we just love Spider-Man too much. But like, I don't know. Like, I just see this and I'm like, this just looks like another Marvel game, and it doesn't grasp me. Like,
It feels.
It got delayed. First of all, like it was supposed to come out in May. It got delayed till the end of the towards the end of the year.
So
and like, we didn't even talk about it.
Rumors say that there's around like 8 to 10 hours of story to play, which is very little. And
how long was Spider-Man's? Probably like what, 30, 20 to 25?
Yeah, no, I think it was like
not that
16
much.
to 20.
16 to 20, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go through it pretty quick.
Yeah, I know I have multiple times.
Speed runs.
Yeah, so with this, you're talking 8 to 10 hours, which is very small.
Mm-hmm.
And then supposedly Miss Marvel is the main character. This is character that you're going to be using the most.
Yeah.
In the game.
Choice.
Not my preferred choice when it comes to an Avengers game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, I'm getting 8 to 10 hours, and then most of it's going to be spent with a character. Like, no disrespect to Kamala Khan, but I don't really care that much about that character.
Yeah, I mean, I don't either. I don't hate the character, but I just like
exactly same here. I was like, I don't hate her, but it's just like, would I rather play as Captain America? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like the whole thing, and then there's the whole aspect of the multiplayer, which I feel like is being kind of hidden right now, but I feel like the multiplayer is going to be a huge aspect of the game.
It's what's going to keep it going.
Yes, and I think now I'm seeing like all this stuff for like DLC and like emotes, and I'm like, they're going to try to like really sell this game on
They're going to make it like a Fortnite thing.
Exactly. I'm like, okay, now we're going to skins and
Deadpool's in Fortnite.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like the whole like the multiplayer thing, I'm just like, okay, it feels like it's clear to me that they're devoting a lot of time and resources into the multiplayer and kind of neglecting the story,
which is kind of a shame.
Yeah, so that right there just makes me feel like I don't want to play this. Yeah,
I don't know. It's just nothing stands out to me, I guess. Yeah, and that's what kind of sucks. I mean, I think I don't know. Like, I mean, even if it came out in May, I'm like, I guess lately I just haven't been in like a super gaming mood just because I've been so busy. Yeah. But like right now, the one game I'm getting is Doom Eternal, which comes out in like March, and a bunch of other games got delayed. Like I was gonna get Cyberpunk, and that was gonna come out the same month as Avengers, and then Avengers got delayed. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll have time to play Cyberpunk. And then Cyberpunk got delayed, and then I'm like, crap.
I'm kind of like I'm looking forward to The Last of Us 2.
Yep.
And then that's really it. You know, it's weird. Like I'm more excited for a Batman game that like there's little information about than I am this Avengers game.
Yeah, I know some stuff about that.
I know you do.
Yeah.
This I don't know. Like I look back to Spider-Man, and like a year before that game even came out, I just could not wait. Like it's just.
I remember when it got announced, and I was like, "This game needs to be in my life right now."
Yeah, and the
anticipation was so great for that game. I can't wait for the second one. Yeah, I mean, I hope our excitement gets better for Avengers, but it's just. You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I feel like it will. I've done that before with a lot of games where like I just won't be excited for a game for a long time, and then as it gets like about a month to release, I get like really excited for it. But it also just kind of depends on my season of life and like what I'm into, like what phase I'm into and everything. So I'm sure what will happen is a month before I'll be like, I'm going to just like catch up on everything that's going on with like Avengers. And then I'm going to watch all these videos and be like, oh my gosh, this game looks freaking awesome. I'm probably not going to pre-order it though. I think I'm going to wait, like just wait. And then I'm kind of done with pre-ordering games. Like
Me too.
And so I don't know, but I hope it gets better. But Keenan's making the statement that we won't. So I guess we'll see.
It will not. I'm calling it now.
All right.
When's it come out? August?
Like September maybe.
Yeah, we're not gonna care about that game. We're gonna be like still going off like a high of Star Wars Celebration, and
that's very true.
Eternals is coming out around that time, and then we got Disney Plus stuff. We're gonna be like so focused on everything else. But I don't know. Maybe
I'm gonna look it up real quick just to make sure. It is September 4th, 2020. So I don't know. I kind of it's sad to say, but I kind of agree with you, but I don't want to.
That's okay. You don't have to.
But yeah, that should do it. We had a couple more things, but they were a little minor, and we've definitely gone over normal time. So that should do it for the end of this episode. But it was good to be back.
Yes.
And I'm glad we caught up on a lot of stuff, and that Keenan is not sick anymore.
Yes.
So
Thank you guys for listening.
Yes, we really appreciate it. If you're by the way, if you're new to this episode, we're glad you've joined us, and we hope you stick around. And hopefully we didn't ramble too long about Star Wars. But we kind of do, so get used to it if you stick around. So yeah, anyway, as our usual stuff, social media, comicblast_ on both Twitter and Instagram. Our personals are in there. You can find him at Keenan Creates, find me at Stradester8, and then all of our respective, in terms of like what platforms you can find us on, in our Patreon, which is Comic Blast Official. Just go on Patreon and look up Comic Blast. You'll find us there. All of that is on our social media, and it probably will be in the descriptions of wherever you're listening to of this. And I'm trying to think, anything else?
Yeah, I mean, going to Galaxy's Edge next week. Maybe I'll do a little video.
You should. I want to see your adventures, man.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've done any videos, so I miss it sometimes. I used to do vlogs like all the time.
Just do it with your phone. The foot is, you got a good phone.
Yeah, same phone as you.
That's very true. I'm still jealous of you. Okay. So he's gone twice and I've gone none.
You'll get there, kid.
Yeah. Anyway.